In this lecture, we're going to continue the conversation that we started off with in the last one. Right? In the previous lecture, we talked about surface area of solids. In this one, we're going to take next step and talk about volume of solids. And just like in the last lecture, we're going to focus on where these formulas come from to the extent that we can without requiring some more advanced mathematical techniques. With the reasoning for that being that, if you're teaching these things, knowing where the formulas come from often suggests some activities that you can actually do in the classroom with your students. Then in the next lecture, we'll look at some specific applications, see how the formulas are used. So talking about volume, we're going to start off from the same place we did back when we were talking about measurement. The volume of a prism, the one on the left here, is equal to the number of unit cubes that we can fit in the prism. And the way we figure that out, right? We stack them across here, and we stack them this deep, going back into the figure. And to do that requires L times W of these unit cubes. Now I have to take those sheets, if you will, of LW cubes and stack them up. And it takes H stacks, which means the volume is length times width times height. All right, so that's for a prism. It's for a rectangular prism. What about this kind of generic prism we have over here in the second figure? Well, if you take a close look at this formula we just came up with, volume is equal to length times width, and I'm going to group those together, times height. All right, length times width, that's actually the area of the base. Right, so another way to think about volume for a right figure like this is it's the area of the base times the height. That's kind of our generic formula for the volume of a prism. Volume equals B times H. And this same reasoning works even for something like a cylinder where the sides are curved. Right? The volume of this cylinder is equal to the area of the base times the height. The base is a circle here, and we've got a formula for the area of a circle. So the volume of a cylinder is pi r squared h. All right, and then finally, we have one more special case here. If we're talking about a rectangular prism where all the sides are the same length, that's a cube. And just using our volume formula, this is S times S times S, which is S cubed. All right, so moving up from there to pyramids and cones. This is a case where uh, there really is no good way to explain why this formula is, again, without having some calculus techniques to fall back on. So you have to take my word for it. Your students will have to take your word for it. The volume of a pyramid is 1/3 the area of the base times the height, and the volume of a cone is 1/3 pi r squared h. Now, what I do want you to notice here, again, kind of for memorization purposes and for teaching purposes, remember we can think of a pyramid as being a prism where the upper base gets shrunk down to a point. And we can think of a cone as being a cylinder where the upper base is shrunk down to a point. So you notice, if you look at these formulas closely here, B times H was the volume of a prism. And pi r squared H was the volume of a cylinder. So both of these formulas are kind of the volumes of the solids that we think about these two coming from, just reduced by a factor of a third. Right, so our last formula here, and again, this is one where you're just going to have to kind of accept this on faith. The volume of a sphere is going to be 4/3 pi r cubed. So I've got all those formulas laid out for you here. Just a quick reference. As I said at the end of the surface area lecture, I know there's a lot of them. Uh, I'm a big fan of index cards. To study these, I would put each one on an index card, write out the formula on the front, along with what all the variables represent, put an example on the back of the card. Just making the cards is a great studying tool. And then once you're done, you can just lay them out in front of you, and you've got them there for quick reference when you're working on these. We're working on these kinds of questions. So looking ahead to the next lecture, we're going to look at some specific examples. We're going to see how you can actually use these formulas to calculate some volumes of some different things.